It's never too late, even though it feels like it and the world tells you otherwise. Hey guys, welcome to Katie Pop Secrets. As you know, I like to keep things sweet, short, and spicy. Thank you for joining me today, and as you can see from the title, over 30, starting over, and just new beginnings. What does that mean and who is it for? So this video is just for anybody that, you feel like you're in your 30s and you're just starting over and transitioning, and maybe just starting, whether that's career-wise, family-wise, relationship-wise, you're just on a new journey and a new venture of life. There's just chaos and just so much happening. You're gonna want to stay tuned for this video because I'm gonna just talk about the transition that happened to me in my early 30s, and just really the revelations, what came about, and literally how that started with pretty much a year of me crying pretty much every single day. So stay tuned, guys. I cried for a year straight. It was a year full of chaos. It was a year full of transformation. It was a lot, but I can tell you that at the end of it all, there was a rainbow. So stay tuned, guys. Okay, guys, so let me just take you back. I'm gonna take you back to quite some years ago where I literally felt like everything in my life wasn't making sense. I was so unsatisfied. I was so unhappy. I was just really wanting more in all aspect of my life, and I just really didn't know how to go about it. I really didn't know really what I wanted, but I knew that I needed change because I was just extremely happy in like so many forefronts of my life, career-wise, relationship-wise, just everything around me. It just felt, I was uneasy, I was unhappy, and I just knew that I wanted more. So guys, in this season of my life, there was so much going on, and I knew that I needed more and I wanted more, and just with everything that was going on, career, relationship, just everything, I needed a safe place. And obviously for me, I grew up in the church, and I knew that I've always had God, but maybe I kind of strayed a little bit, and I knew that I had to find my center and just to kind of go back in that realm of like being really serious about my faith and just really get reconnected with the one that created me. So in that season of time, I made a commitment to myself. I'm like, you know what? I gotta go back to the source, and I gotta get back to where I used to be, like in my younger days, being steady and firm in my faith, and, just knowing what I stood for, and just having a sense of purpose. I felt like I was lacking that and losing that. So I decided to like go heavy hearted back onto like my faith, just really trying to get closer with God, really just trying to reconnect, really just trying to like build that relationship, that foundation that I felt like I was lacking, because I felt like I just felt so lost and so just lost and just really unhappy with just the circumstances of like what my life, was ending up to be, and like where I was. And I kid you not, that was the best and worst time of my life. And I'm going to explain to you why. I believe that sometimes when God is about to do something beautiful in your life, he removes a lot. He takes away a lot. People, just things, the way you feel about certain things. So in that state, I was getting closer to God. I was building my relationship. I felt better. I felt like I was back on track to where I knew I should be, and I had, the strength and the Holy Spirit and just everything. I felt at home. But at the same time, with that transformation, a chaos was happening around me in my life. It was like, again, I wanted a new job, and my job was just making me kind of unhappy at that point. My relationship that I was in for 10 years was just like unraveling, and I was like learning things about the individual, and I just wasn't satisfied with that anymore. And I wanted to step away from that, but there was fear there because I committed so much into that. And, I was in that state of being 30 and like wondering what, having to start all over again because of the pressures of the world that tells you that you need to have things at a certain time. And here I was committed myself to someone for 10 years, and I was possibly gonna walk away from it, because really and truly that's what God was telling me to do, to walk away from it. I was like, what? I mean, I know I got back closer to you, but is that what you're asking me to do? Like, oh my God, it was just a lot. So that year that I was in that transformational season, it was such a beautiful process, but it was also such a sad process for me, because I was gaining so much, but at the same time, the things around me was like falling apart. But I realized now, looking back, that it was falling apart to really create what God wanted me to be in, right? I think sometimes we have to lose things, people have to go, God kind of has to like clear out your situation or your circumstances to really rebuild it the way that is a lot better for you, that is more satisfying for you, that is, you know, that's going to be the redemption period for you. But of course, in that season of your life, it's so chaotic, you can't really see that. You know, all you see is like the people you're losing, the unhappiness, the sadness, the fear, and everything that comes with the motions of like things just kind of like unraveling around you. And that was just a really hard season for me in my life. And I just want to talk to anybody that is going through that season of time where you feel like everything in your life is just chaos, you know, and it's just like you feel like you can't find your grounding, and you feel like, you know, you're just losing you know, you don't know who you are. The first and the foremost thing that I would tell you is seek God and go back to that. Get grounded there, right? I get grounded with the one that created you. Go back and search for him, build a relationship with him, get connected with him again, right? Because even in that year of chaos and just like sadness and whatever, I still felt safe and I still felt peace, because I felt so close to God and I felt so connected that I knew that all things work for those who love the Lord. And I knew that no matter what I saw, that everything was working out for my better, for the betterment of me, right? And because he loved me so much. So I held on to that, and I held on to my connection, my relationship with him, making sure that that was something that was a priority for me to build every day, to make sure that that was the first thing, you know, that I did in the morning times. That was the first thing that I held on to in the daytime. And I just want to remind people that no matter what you're going through, there's someone that loves you more than you can even imagine, right? And get back to where you were, rebuild that relationship. And if you don't know God, and if you don't know Jesus, and I would implore you to go to a community church or just wherever, and online, you know, find a community where you can learn more and build on that and understand that and get into relationship with that, because that relationship gives you a peace that makes people think that you're crazy because in chaos you feel a peace that is like abnormal to others, but in the realm of faith it makes sense, right? So I hope that, you know, you understand that and that makes sense to some of you guys. I just really want this video to just really help someone to remember that it's sometimes in the uncomfortable that you really get to see like what you're made of. And I've talked about I have a video that talks about that. I might put it here, but it's really in the thickness and the griminess that you really see like what you're capable of, like the skill sets and just everything that you have to offer, because you gotta dig deep in those seasons of time. But this is just a reminder and an encouragement for anyone that's in that season where you just feel like everything is falling apart, that God is making room for something bigger and greater for you. And if you really just trust and look above, don't be afraid, because I'm not gonna lie, that year I was just like, a lot was happening, but don't be afraid. Just listen to the small voice that's there, that's the Holy Spirit that's like talking to you. Be obedient to that. And that is one of the keys that I would tell anybody. Be obedient to that small voice, you know, and get closer to the one above and build that relationship, build that connection. That year was the worst year of my life because I lost a lot in terms of relationship. I was unhappy career-wise. I was just unhappy with myself, trying to figure out purpose and, you know, going through all of that stuff. But at the same time, I ended up getting a better job that with more money. I ended up meeting my husband that year. I ended up traveling that year, and experiencing so much stuff. I felt happier that year. I ended up coming up with the business idea that year, so it's like out of all of the darkness and the sadness also came light. And it was a battle there, as I've explained before, because it was a transition and I couldn't see what God was doing as he was removing, but he was also replacing at the same time, guys. So never give up. Trust that even in the midst of chaos, God is working behind the scenes. As long as you stay close to him, as long as you listen to the small voice that you think, that small voice that you think is nothing, just be obedient and stay connected, guys. I hope that was just something and a reminder for you to not give up today. Guys, as you know, I like to keep things sweet, short, and spicy. I really would love your support, guys. Just subscribing to my channel. Let's just have real conversations about life and what that entails. Join this community, subscribe to my video, guys, and I will see you next time. And let me know topics and things that you would love for me to talk about. Drop them below, and I will see you again in my next video. Bye, guys.